Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I exposed Luffy to Garp at the beginning of One Piece. Chapter 1. East Blue, somewhere near the border of the remote coastline of the Kingdom of Goa. Sabo is the first and Ace is the second. Although I am the third, I will never lose. A teenager with a straw hat and scars on the corners of his eyes, looking at the endless sea in the distance, grinned with a sunny smile. Wait for me, Ace, I will catch up with you soon. He clenched his fists and stretched out to the sky, his face full of vitality. Hey, Luffy, this is a rare opportunity, just use my old fishing boat. Your boat will sink soon, so you use this kind of boat. At the dock, many villagers from Fengche village came here to see off the teenagers wearing straw hats. There was a joking look and tone on his face and mouth, but there was a little worry in the voice. It's okay, that's it. On the dilapidated boat that he found from nowhere, Luffy patted the big wooden barrel full of food and water next to him, and he laughed twice. I want to start like this. After speaking, he bounced around and took a deep breath towards the sea. My voyage is about to begin. Sabo, you see, I want to go to sea too. He smiled and screamed from the bottom of his heart, and the residents of the dock behind him also made friendly and kind ridicules. What is it, Luffy, yelling and talking to himself, is it a spell? Who is Sabo? I do not know either. This is not a spell, it's a challenge book. Listening to the peers' comments, Luffy only replied, and then waved to the shore Makino and the village chief who had taken care of him for the longest time. Then I'm leaving now. Today is really a good day to set sail. Are you leaving now? The village will be lonely if you are not here in the future. Makino smiled softly. The village chief next to Luffy was also blowing his beard and staring. It's a shame for the village to be a pirate. As he said, he inadvertently looked at the bandit in the house of Yigandarden in the corner behind him who was reluctant to throw his handkerchief with tears on his face, and said with a headache. First Ace, and then Luffy. Really, all of them are so uncomfortable. If Garp knows that his most anticipated grandson has chosen to go out to sea as a pirate, I don't know what it will be like. Quote. Having said this, the village chief had a pause, then thought of Garp's carefree character, and could not help but stop talking silently. At this moment, the villagers around him suddenly exclaimed. That's the king of the sea. Just ahead of Luffy's flight path, a huge sea king with a dark gray body shape and a catfish appearance, staring at a pair of blood-red eyes, jumped out of the sea. Have you appeared, king of the seas? Luffy pressed the brim of his straw hat, and the corners of his mouth curled up. You found the wrong opponent. Let you see the tricks I have been practicing for 10 years. While talking and laughing, his right arm suddenly clenched and stretched out to his back. Takagi Takagi. Rubber Fruit's ability will be activated in the next second, and at this moment. Fist Bone's Meteor Shower. Before Luffy said the word, pistol, a voice full of anger and a little anger sounded from behind the king of the sea. Boom boom boom. As if the sound of a cannon bombardment was rising, I saw brilliant artillery fireworks from the back of the king of the sea, accompanied by waves of wailing. Its blood-red eyes began to turn white, and the whole fish body weakly fell to the side. This voice and trick is. Luffy, who was helped by others to kill the king of the seas, did not feel any joy. Instead, bean-shaped beads of sweat fell from his head. And after the king of the sea fell, behind it, a warship appeared quietly. The dog's head with bones in the front of the warship is so obvious, and above the dog's head, there is an old man wearing the same dog's head hat, posing in a posture of just throwing things away. Ah, it's Grandpa. Why? I asked Makino to ask about Grandpa's itinerary before sailing. Shouldn't he perform tasks in the marine branch now? Luffy held his head in his hands and grabbed his straw hat. The panic and fear could not hide his face. That is Garp Vice Admiral's warship. The villagers at the pier recognized at a glance who was driving the warship with the iconic dog head that often went home to visit relatives, and they all swallowed. Garp Vice Admiral. Luffy. Makino couldn't help but concealed her lips slightly. She had already guessed how it would end for Luffy. Garp. Garp. The former is the sound of the village chief's face twitching, while the latter is the hurried exclamation of the Dadan family in the corner. That bad old man didn't just leak the news the day before yesterday, saying that he was handling things at Marine's G8 branch, and he won't be back in 2 weeks. Why is he here now? With orange hair, Luffy and Ace's adoptive mother, the tall thief Dadan is smoking a cigarette, with a horrified and deceived expression on his face. The two attendants around her also looked worried and scared, worried about Luffy's sailing, fearing that they would be liquidated by Garp afterwards. Luffy. Garp on the dog's head slowly retracted his posture, and took off the dog's head hat, revealing his kind smile and his eyes under the black line. You really deserve to be the grandson of the old man. If I hadn't heard the news in advance, you would have really made you follow in Ace's footsteps. Master. Grandpa. Luffy's face was like the bitter melon face when he ate the extremely unpalatable rubber fruit. Why do you suddenly appear here? Obviously only Dadan and Makino know about my sailing. Having said that, Luffy, who had never been conscious, suddenly flashed in his mind, pointing to Garp and yelling. Ah, I see. It was Shannuo who told Grandpa you, right? On a huge tree at the pier of Fengche village, a handsome young man sat on the top of the tree, watching everything on the sea level leisurely, with a gleeful smile at the corner of his mouth. Don't blame me, Luffy. After all, Mr. Garp has a life-saving grace for me, and I won this bet. As he said, he let out a sigh with emotion on his face. Unexpectedly, crossing into the world of One Piece would fundamentally change the line of fate of the story. The boy's name is Shannuo. Yes, he is not an aboriginal in the world of One Piece, but a person who has traveled from the Earth to this world. Shannuo still remembers that he was making a video about One Piece in the middle of the night. He was a well-known up master in this area. However, he died suddenly due to overwork and his eyes closed and he was unconscious. When he woke up again, he found that his body seemed to shrink, returning to the teenage years of 16 or 17, and lying wet on the deck. When he was lifted up by Marine in a white soldier uniform on the deck and asked about the situation, he realized that he had actually crossed into the world of One Piece. Fortunately, he was originally an orphan with no worries, and there is nothing unacceptable after crossing. It only stunned him that the warship he was staying on was the Marine hero, Monkey D. Garp, who was about to return home to visit relatives. And it was precisely because Garp was eating senbei on the deck and just found Shannuo, who had fainted and sank in the sea, and brought him up. It can be said that Garp is his lifesaver. If it weren't for him, he might drown in the sea directly, becoming the saddest traverser ever. Afterwards, the soldiers asked him about his personal situation, but he used his amnesia as an excuse to prevaricate the past. When the soldiers reported to Garp, he just waved his hands indifferently. Let's drop him along the way to Fengche village, where the folk customs are relatively simple and stable, suitable for him to live there. Ever since, Shannuo followed Garp and others who had returned home to visit relatives, and came to Windmill Village in 1519 a year ago. When he got off the warship, Shannuo kept an eye on him and asked Garp for his phone room number very sincerely, saying that he would repay him for his life-saving in the future. In this regard, Garp just buttoned his nose. This is what the old man Marine should do. You don't have to worry about it. Even if you want a number, the old man doesn't have one, because the old man doesn't like to answer the phone. If you have to, just take away my adjutant's number. After speaking, he laughed heartily and headed towards Dadan's house on the mountain to see his precious grandson. After getting the Garp lieutenant number and establishing a little contact, Shannuo also began to think about how to survive in the world of One Piece. My thin body from the earth, but it is incomparable to the many monsters in the world of One Piece. Just as he was distressed whether he would just live in this remote town for a long time, his stomach rang. Ever since, Shannuo, who had a big meal and eaten up his own stomach, relied on his harmless and handsome face to get a job in Makino's bar in the town. And to Shannuo's ecstasy, after he just got a job from the gentle Makino, a voice suddenly rang in his mind. Ding! Since Host has the ability to live in this world, the super strong system is officially launched. Although this is a cliché-sounding name, the arrival of the system cheat still makes Shannuo ecstatic. In the days that followed, Shannuo began to study the functions of his own system while working. He discovered that this so-called super strength system has a total of 5 abilities. They are beat, pick, task, check-in and lottery. Defeat or kill opponents, you can become stronger, you can pick up items from the corpse, and you can become stronger. The system will post tasks, complete to get rewards, and become stronger. You can sign in every day to get rewards and become stronger. Each there is a lottery draw every month to get rewards and become stronger. In addition, there is an infinite system space that can stop the flow of time and load various lifeless items. These 5 abilities are easy to understand. In the days of working in the tavern, Shannuo also explored the system from various aspects and realized the power of the system. Defeating or killing is the kind of upgrade routine of playing games to fight monsters. Defeating or killing can improve one's physique. The stronger the person who defeats and kills, the higher the improvement of one's own physique. Picking up is the ability to get the most valuable skills from the corpse, that is, touching the corpse. It can be said that the value of life and death can provide nourishment for becoming stronger, and I will not let it go. Needless to say about sign-in and lottery, you can get it every day and every month, but the things you get at sign-in are more general, like 10,000 berry, beautiful black tops, etc. The monthly lottery draw can bring considerable possibilities for Shannuo to become stronger. Shannuo has seen Logia's devil fruit and supreme sharp knife on the lottery roulette. In this year, Shannuo has held a total of 12 lotteries. The 2 best treasures are the flintlock pistol with infinite bullets and the famous sword cloud strategy of one of the 50 works of Liankuaidao. As for the increase in strength, most of it comes from the task function. Helping Makino clean the tavern, helping the village chief to carry supplies, etc. Although these small tasks give little improvement, they also make Shannuo feel that her strength has increased. It should be no problem to deal with at least 4 or 5 bandits who go together, which also gives him the foundation to become a monster. The opening of the mission function gave Shannuo 3 final main missions: the world's strongest man, the world's most reputable man, and the world's most powerful man. They correspond to becoming the strongest person in the world, becoming the One Piece, and overthrowing the world government to establish a new righteousness. However, these 3 main missions are too far away for the current Shannuo, so I don't think about it for the time being. In the following year, in addition to the growth of strength, Shannuo also gained a lot of skills, such as cooking and bartending, by doing tasks. This also allowed him to get in touch with Luffy, who went down to find meat from time to time. I still remember the content of the conversation after the 2 got together 3 months ago. "Wow, Shannuo, the meat you made is so delicious. How about it, do you want to wait for me to go to sea and be my partner?" Luffy said vaguely as he chewed the flesh. "Your grandfather is a marine hero. As his grandson, how about you go out to sea as a pirate?" Shannuo asked this deliberately, in return for Luffy's grinning grin. "What Grandpa thinks is his business. I don't want to be a marine, but you, Shannuo, really don't plan to be my partner and sail with me. I have no plans to set sail for the time being, but you, Mr. Garp, is my savior. I can't just watch his grandson become a pirate and lose money." Shannuo shook her head and said with emotion, "Cut, that guy Ace has already gone to sea, Grandpa still has nothing to do." Luffy mumbled indifferently so quietly, and immediately he thought of something, and his eyes lit up. "Let's do it, Shannuo. If you tell my grandfather that I want to go to sea, you can count it as a gratitude, but if I can still go to sea in this way, then you will come to be my partner, how about? This kind of thinking and the way to die, very Luffy." "Deal." A light flashed in front of Shannuo's eyes, and Luffy smiled and high-fived to complete the bet. Since then, it was the last time the 2 met. Luffy, Ace, and Sabo agreed to set sail when they were 17 years old. Of course, they chose to set sail on the day of their 17th birthday as their birthday present. Knowing about Luffy's life card birthday and other news, Shannuo secretly said sorry to Luffy, and then reported the specific date and situation to Garp through a phone bug. Then, there is today's situation. But whoosh, Shannuo still guessed the day when I went to sea. No matter what, I won't admit defeat. Grandpa, I'm going to run away, don't come to catch me. Luffy was annoyed, and said to Garp on the warship confidently, making Garp very angry. Don't give the old man his willfulness. No matter what, you don't want to slip out of the old man's eyelids today. You must never let you be like Ace. Garp said, seeing Luffy desperately paddling the oars there, peeking directly into his palm, and holding a jet black cannonball in his palm. The old man has come back for several missions specially to let you feel what is the cannonball of love. Fist bone meteor. From the treetops, looking at the grandparents who were chasing and fleeing, Shannuo curled his lips and showed a pretty happy smile. On the one hand, it is funny, and on the other hand, it is the clear reminder sound in my mind. Ding, legendary level mission. Fight the future One Piece complete. Get rewards. Power value 2000 points, Iron Swordsman level swordsmanship, 6 skills intermediate level, Conqueror's Haki elementary level, Devil Fruit Curse immunity. Mission completed. As early as when Shannuo and Luffy made a bet, the mission system in the Super Strength system had already issued this legendary mission. Kill the future One Piece. Although I am very sorry Luffy, but who made Mr. Garp our lifesaver, and you were willing to bet with me, I also regard myself as a bet. Since you have lost, I am embarrassed. The men on the sea always have to pay for their actions. However, in addition to the previous Sterling the Future One Piece clearly given the legendary level mission, some other missions did not give a clear level. Under Garp's cannonball offensive, Luffy's crumbling small ship was destroyed almost instantly. He himself was clinging to it indiscriminately with both hands, and finally sank weakly into the sea. As demon fruit power, once he falls into the sea, he can only become the fish on the chopping board. Looking at the warship approaching and sending people to salvage Luffy, and vowing to give him a lesson of Garp, Shannuo silently wiped his sweat for Luffy in his heart. After 2 seconds of silence for Luffy, he began to check the results of this mission. As a legendary mission that I saw for the first time throughout the year, the rewards given are not unreasonable. The first is the Tao power value of 2000. You must know that in the world of One Piece, Tao power can reflect a person's combat effectiveness, but it cannot completely determine a person's strength. Assume that the most common marine soldier has a power value of 10, more than 500 is considered a Superman. Shannuo has completed so many tasks in Windmill Village in the past year, plus the daily, but it is only worthy to reach 20 points. And this task alone has increased his combat effectiveness by a full 100 times. Although Oda basically abandoned the setting of Tao power because of its strong combat effectiveness in the later period, in the early period, it can definitely become the standard to measure the strength of Shannuo. CP9 agents, except for Lucci with 4000 power, Kaku with 2200 power, and Jabra with 2180 power, none of the others can exceed 1000. In other words, Shannuo with 2000 power points can basically walk sideways in East Blue in most areas of the first half of the Grand Line. In addition to the power value, Shannuo has also obtained the swordsmanship of the swordsman level swordsman, as well as the intermediate marine 6 styles and the junior conqueror's haki. The skills acquired by Shannuo are divided into elementary, intermediate, advanced and perfect. The level of Iron Swordsman can be regarded as an intermediate level, capable of flying slashing blows. Being able to cut through the air slash is also a sign that the strength has initially reached Jian Hao. And once the sword skill reaches the advanced level, it can easily increase the power of the flying slash and use it. As for the level of perfection, it is almost like an eagle eye. For flying slashing at your fingertips, you can split the sea with a single wave. It's just that the same level is perfect, and there are differences between superior and inferior. Foil Vista, Red-Haired Shanks, Golden Lion Shiki, and Hawkeye Mahawk on the Whitebeard ship, the swordsmanship of these people is undoubtedly reaching the perfect level in their respective genres. But there is only one person in the real world's #1 swordsman. Just like hockey, Shannuo also won Conqueror's Haki, taking Conqueror's Haki as an example. The elementary conquerors can only make subconscious deterrence under the agitation of the mind, the intermediate one can be used consciously, and the advanced one can use conquerors as a means of confronting the enemy to collide. For example, Ming Jie and Luffy confront each other in Dressrosa, foot. The perfect level is Whitebeard and Redhead. They clash because of Blackbeard's affairs. The Conqueror's Haki collision between the two can cause substantial damage to the hull and other items, and it can tear the clouds straight to the sky. The Conqueror's Haki of Whitebeard and Shanks is undoubtedly perfect. But the world recognized that Shanks has the strongest Conqueror's Haki in the world. Just as Oda said that the Emperor is at the same level, Marine Admiral and 4 Emperors are both at the same level of strength, but obviously at the same level, there is a big gap in strength. On a Phoenix, there are both Phoenix Head and Phoenix Tail. Shannuo also felt for a while in the intermediate 6 styles. Although he could not use the advanced skills of Life Return and the 6 King's Spear like Lucci, he could also use the 6 moves very skillfully. Tao Power, Swordsmanship, 6 styles in hockey, these martial arts and swordsmanship, it can be said that Shannuo directly turned over and became a strong man who can walk on the sea. And what surprised him the most was the last reward of the task. Devil fruit is immune to curse. As we all know, devil fruit, as the secret treasure of the sea, also carries the curse of being hated by the sea. That is, if you fall into the sea, you will lose your strength, and some people can't eat 2 devil fruits, otherwise they will burst and die. However, after completing the task, the rewards given by the system can be immune to this curse. So Shannuo said, to kill the future One Piece, this legendary mission that is enough to change the general situation of the world, how can it only give me a small reward for strength? It turns out that the big head is at this moment. Although it is now 1520, the good and powerful devil fruits basically have their own owners. But this does not prevent Shannuo from having a good vision for the future. Now you can get the reward of devil fruit's curse immunity. Maybe you will get some rewards such as devil fruit ability extraction and devil fruit ability reenactment in the future. Not to mention, one of the 5 major functions of his strengthening system, it also has a pickup function. If you kill the capable ones, can you get the abilities in them? Shannuo couldn't help but fell into contemplation and fantasy. And at this moment, wow, ha ha ha, thank you Shannuo boy, I accept this love. If you want to join Marine in the future, even if you report the name of the old man, ha ha ha. On the deck, Garp carried Luffy, who had been submerged in the water and lost consciousness, in one hand. He noticed the direction of Shannuo with his sight and color, and let out a hearty laugh. After laughing, his other hand directly hit Luffy's forehead in a coma. You fool, after you wake up, I must let you know that in addition to love, there is cruel harshness in family relationships. Seeing a red envelope popping out of Luffy's head, Shannuo came back to his senses and waved silently on the treetop to bid farewell to Luffy and Garp. Goodbye Luffy, I hope we will meet again one day. Garp's arrival killed his grandson's dream of going to sea, and the villagers on the dock saw this whole set of family ethical scenes in their eyes. Although they sympathized with Luffy's experience, it was a family affair after all, and they didn't have much to say. In a short while, the scene of the pier was still full of enthusiasm, and as the Garp warship sailed away, they dispersed one by one, starting a day of running for their own lives. After Shannuo waved goodbye to the unconscious Luffy, they returned to the Makino bar. As soon as I walked in, I saw the village chief sitting at the table and hung up the phone worm in his hand. How's the village chief? Makino asked, slightly worried while wiping the dishes. Ah, that guy Garp said, because he has learned from Ace before, this time he will not indulge Luffy's wayward behavior. Take him to Marine for strict training. The village chief rubbed his eyebrows, but also a headache on his face. Although he said that being a pirate was a shame in the village, he was very concerned about Luffy, but watched him grow up since he was a child, and he loved it from the heart, so he naturally called Garp to plead for mercy. As a result, Garp's attitude this time is unusually determined. Garp said, if Luffy is still clamoring to be a pirate, he will throw Luffy into Impel Down. Impel Down. Makino lost his voice. Mr. Garp won't put his own grandson in prison, right? Shannuo just came in and sat down, and she couldn't help being a little startled when she heard such an amazing news before she could sit still. Garp, he shouldn't be so cruel, right? What do you think? The village chief shook his head. The guy Garp intends to let Luffy go to Impel Down to start as a jailer. Let him take a good look at the ugly faces of those wicked pirates, and let him know what will happen and the consequences of becoming a pirate. As he said, the village chief knocked on the floor with his cane. When Luffy wakes up, he will take Luffy to naval headquarters and train him to become an excellent marine. That's it. Makino breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that, and immediately became a little worried. She knows the agreement between Shanks and Luffy best, and she knows Luffy's character best. Even if Mr. Garp does this, I'm afraid Luffy will not give in. I'm afraid things will become more and more complicated. Thinking of this, Makino couldn't help being silent, and for a while the bar became quiet. Ahem, Sister Makino. At this moment, Shannuo spoke, breaking the silence. I want to quit my job and go to the sea for a break. Huh, is it so sudden? Still worrying Luffy's Makino couldn't help but come back to his senses and was taken aback. Yes, Shannuo nodded, after the incident of Luffy, it also touched me. I can't remember all the things I had before amnesia. I want to go to the sea to find out if I can recall the past. What's more, he showed his white teeth. Luffy was taken away by Mr. Garp. I want to work hard with him. Work hard together. The village chief's eyelids twitched. You sold Luffy, right? I heard all of Garp's thank you words on the ocean. However, when Luffy and Shannuo made a bet, he was also there, and Makino was the witness of the bet. The village chief, who knew the cause and effect, didn't say much. He just thumped his old waist, took out a chart from his arms and placed it in front of Shannuo. This was originally prepared for the guy Luffy, but he didn't want it at all. Since you also chose to sail, I will leave this East Blue chart for you. After speaking, he picked up the teacup in front of him and began to taste the tea. Are you going to leave even Shannuo? Seeing Shannuo, who had collected Heitu silently, Makino showed a look of reluctance on his face. Yes, there is no permanent banquet on the sea, there will always be a parting day. Using the search for so-called memories as an excuse to go to sea, Shannuo smiled. Then he immediately became slightly serious, got up to Makino in the counter and the village head in the seat and bowed slightly. Thank you for your care this year. Today's Windmill Village wharf is particularly lively. First, Luffy went to sea, but before he drove out of Windmill Village, his grandfather Garp, together with him and the Lord of the Sea, solved it together. Then, Shannuo, a handsome boy who had lived in the village for a year, wanted to go to sea to find his own memories. During the year, Shannuo was willing to help many villagers in the village under the arrangement of the system tasks. Everyone had a good impression of this handsome guy who was going to sea, and was very disappointed. Makino and the village chief came to the pier again to say goodbye to Shannuo. Goodbye everyone, if I can in the future, I will come back to find everyone. On a boat slightly better than Luffy, Shannuo stood there and waved goodbye to the villagers. Shannuo, pay attention to safety and don't get hurt. Yes, remember to come back to see us. No matter where you go, you are also a member of our Windmill Village. Farewell was originally a sad thing, but in the atmosphere of this island ocean world, there must be a joyous atmosphere when bidding farewell to express blessings to the far travelers. Well, I remembered everyone, so goodbye. Raising the sail and blowing in the breeze, Shannuo waved her hands and walked away from the villagers on the dock. That's it. Looking at the boat going away, Makino sighed slightly, thinking of Shannuo's gentle and handsome smiling face, as if there was something empty in his heart. Go and follow your own past, I hope he won't become a pirate, the village chief also murmured with a cane. It's not good, the village chief. Just when the two of them were feeling a little lost, a villager rushed to the dock in a hurry, with an anxious expression on his face. A group of bandits came to the village to rob. Bandits. The village and Makino were startled at the same time. Yes, the villagers nodded repeatedly, but their expressions became a little weird again. But they don't rob money or hurt people's lives. They just collect food and drink in large quantities, and they are still clamoring, you must store food, and don't go down the mountain during this time. Anyone who finds it will say no to prevent Garp from reckoning. Strange words or something. Prevent Garp from reckoning. The boss of the bandit is a tall lady with orange hair. Makino blinked. Huh, how did you know Makino? That's right, it's them. It really is Dadan's group. The village chief and Makino looked at each other, and both saw the smile in each other's eyes. It seems that Dadan is also afraid that Garp will be held accountable afterwards. The sea. Shannuo put down her hand, raised her head, looked up at the blue sky, and grinned until she could no longer see the full view of the dock. One Piece's world, I am coming. How can there be nothing in this sea that has nurtured infinite excitement? Shannuo must leave her name on this ocean. If you go to sea, then you must have a suitable partner. As a partner, since you have been arrested as a jailer, Luffy, impel down, then I'm not welcome. I said, I will work hard together with your share. Seagulls flew gently, white clouds fluttered, and the voice of the boy resounded across the sky. A new generation of legend is about to begin. Leave, go to Schultz Town. Sea Circle Calendar in 1520, at the pier of Windmill Village, a young man with a dream embarked on his sailing journey. It's just that the young candidate is completely different from the original one. The town of Shells, where the Marine G-153 branch is stationed, was originally a peaceful town, but due to the tyranny of Colonel Marine Monka, it has become a miasma. Since 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Axeman Monka, as the captain of the Black Cat pirate group, was the only survivor of the hundreds of crows and successfully arrested Crow. He was awarded a special promotion from a sergeant to the 153 branch. The colonel became the most powerful person in the town. It's just that after becoming a colonel, his temperament changed drastically, becoming a cruel and dictatorial, and no one could disobey his words. The power held by his identity, coupled with the power of his axe, made the entire town shrouded in his shadow, making everyone daring not to speak. Shannuo compared the map with the basic navigation skills obtained by daily sign-in, and came here without any risk. As soon as he landed ashore, he could feel the unusual atmosphere in the town. An atmosphere of depression, oppression, grief and anger. Shannuo pursed her lips and walked into a restaurant with a "food full" sign. Even if it's time to eat now, there are very few people in the restaurant. Shannuo took a chair and sat down. The proprietress who rushed up to pick up the customer smiled and waved, and then looked at the little girl who was serious about making rice balls in the kitchen behind the counter. "Little sister, if you want to make rice balls, you should add salt. Adding sugar is too sweet." Li Jia, who was concentrating on cooking rice balls, couldn't help but feel excited when she heard this. He turned around and found a handsome big brother looking at her with a smile. "Yes, but I think the dessert will be better," Li Jia said eagerly. These rice balls he was going to make for her unspeakable lifesaver, and she was found to be a little scared. Children may think that desserts will taste good, but if for a person who hasn't eaten for nearly 20 days, supplementing the body's nutrients is the most important thing. I suggest you put some salted and some fresh raw fish. Peace. Hearing what Shannuo said, Li Jia's heart jumped sharply, but Shannuo interrupted what she was about to say and continued. "I am also very interested in that guy. I want to see him, but I don't want him to starve to death like this." Really? Li Jia couldn't help hesitating a bit when she heard this. "If you don't believe me, then I will just buy some pilaf here and bring it to him. It doesn't matter to me." Then please take care of you, big brother. Well, first of all, you must grasp a certain angle and strength when kneading the rice ball, otherwise it will stick together." Working in a Makino tavern and doing tasks, with Shannuo who is not low in cooking, it is very easy to teach a little girl to make a rice ball. Not long after, the 2 yuan looked very good, and the rice balls that made people look very appetizing appeared in Li Jia's hands. "Is this really what I did?" There were little stars in her eyes, as if she had awakened the nature of a cook. "Let's go." Shannuo touched her head and walked towards the tallest marine base building in Shells. The 153rd branch of Marine is the branch of East Blue directly under Marine. There is a cross on the empty field under the tower, where the Colonel Monka, who is now in power, punished opponents. In the empty cross at this time, there was a guy tied up, a guy wearing a green hood, surrounded by a green belly, kabuto, and 3 earrings on his ears. He looked very vicious. The most famous bounty hunter on East Blue right now is Roronoa Zoro, known as a pirate hunter. On the fence outside the empty field, I saw the super popular character in this anime with my own eyes, and Shannuo's eyes were also a little shining. But soon, the light in his eyes dissipated. In the future, I will see a variety of popular anime characters. Even Luffy and Garp have already seen him. This is just the beginning. And just when he found Zoro, a reminder sounded in his mind again. Ding, post mission, the world's number 1 swordsman companion. Invite the future worlds know. 1 swordsman to be a companion, and the mission will be rewarded with generous rewards. Has the task been released? It just fits my mind. You guy. Zoro, who was tied to the cross, seemed to notice something and raised his head slightly. He saw that someone on the high wall was looking at him with a smile, and couldn't help but say, "It's an eyesore, get out of here." He put on a ferocious look and eyes, and didn't want people to be implicated because of him. No need to behave like this. Shannuo chuckled and jumped off the high wall. Li Jia also built a ladder and rope and climbed in. She also held 2 cooked rice balls in her hands. "Big brother, I made this. You must be hungry if you haven't eaten for so many days." Speaking in a low voice, the sad Li Jia handed the 2 rice balls to Zoro. Upon seeing this, Zoro's eyelids twitched. I'm not hungry, leave me here. After swallowing secretly, he turned his head slightly, not looking at the rice ball and girl in front of him. There are still 10 days to survive this month, and he doesn't want to hurt anyone in this last time. Really stubborn. Shannuo smiled and said. Do you really think that the kind of trash boy will really let you live through these last days? If you let you survive, wouldn't it make him faceless, beat him, kill his pet, and offend him? His people can survive unharmed, do you think he will let this happen? On the way here, Li Jia had already told Shannuo the whole story. The pet wolf raised by Monka's son Balloomber broke into the restaurant and attacked Lixiong. It was Zoro who killed the wolf and punched Balloomber twice. Biru Meibo uses, even if you can't help you, can't you help the people in this restaurant? They will be tortured when you leave, as an excuse to trick Zoro into being tied up here for a month. As long as Zoro can survive this month, he will be released and all his previous sins will not count. Ever since, Zoro has been tied here for 3 weeks. It's really stupid and naive. What do you mean? After listening to Shannuo's words, Zoro's heart jumped and had a bad feeling. I heard the news that the dude brother intends to execute you tomorrow. With your current physical condition and the state of being tied up and unable to move, I am afraid that you will not be able to hide from tomorrow. And even if I got it wrong, he won't give you torture tomorrow. You will survive a month later and let you leave safely, but then, with that son's disposition, I am afraid that he will go to the restaurant to make trouble, and then you will be gone, their fate. It shouldn't be necessary for me to say more. Shannuo sentence after sentence, Li Jia's face became more and more apprehensive, and Zoro's face became more gloomy and ugly. Oh, this untouchable who doesn't know where he ran out is right. Not long after Shannuo finished speaking, a nasty voice like a drake's voice rose up in the audience. Biru Meibo, with his big back, blonde hair and long butt chin, walked in with 2 marines behind him, looking coquettishly. I didn't expect your spirit to be so good, Roronoa Zoro, but it will continue to this day. He pinched the corner of his clothes and his face was high. Do you really think you can get out alive after entering Marine Base? It's too naive, huh? Ha ha ha. He smiled unscrupulously, and the 2 seamen behind him seemed to have seen a lot, and they were a little numb. You guy. Zoro's eyes became particularly terrifying at this moment, and he stared at Biru Meibo firmly. Don't blame me, go and get a good baby in your next life. Laughing, Belle Meibo turned around to leave, but saw the 2 rice balls in Li Jia's hand that looked particularly appetizing. This rice ball looks delicious. Bring me. Biru Meibo, who was accustomed to doing whatever he wanted in the town, directly grabbed his hand and took it towards the rice ball in Rika's hand. However, before his hand came close, he saw a fist constantly enlarged in front of his eyes. Boom, he received a heavy blow on the face, and the whole person flew out directly. Sorry, I also contribute to this rice ball, but I don't want a guy like you to eat it. Shannuo retracted her hand and said with a smile on her face. You dare to attack me. You are dead, soldier, shoot me and kill him. Biru Meibo hugged his nose and wailed and rolled on the ground, not forgetting to give orders to the soldiers. Crack, the sound of the bullet being loaded, the 2 soldiers numbly raised their muskets, and the black Gulongdong's muzzle was aimed at Shannuo and Zoro. Want to kill us? It's a pity, you don't have that ability. Shannuo smiled and flipped his palm, and a jet black long knife appeared in his hand. Won the lottery, the famous knife Yunce, one of the 50 good knives. This knife. As a swordsman, Zoro did not pay attention to why Shannuo's hand suddenly appeared with a famous sword. His focus was all on the sword itself. He could see the extraordinary features of this knife at a glance. Shoot me, shoot. As Balloombo wailed, the sound of pulling the trigger sounded immediately. Bang, bang, woo. At the moment when the bullet came out, Zoro's eyes wanted to close subconsciously, but seeing Shannuo took out this famous knife, he must have extraordinary strength, and his eyes widened and wanted to take a closer look. Chuck, the blade was swung, and the 2 flying bullets were easily blocked. It's very slow. Shannuo smiled indifferently. He has an iron-level swordsmanship, not to mention the small skills of blocking bullets, even steel-made cannonballs, he can easily show you. Weird, monster. The 2 numb soldiers finally had their expressions fluctuating, looking at Shannuo with a look of horror. Who the hell are you guys? Zoro also looked at Shannuo with a shocked expression. With the hand just now, he could see that his swordsmanship was absolutely extraordinary. I am above this East Blue, but I have never heard of any master who has this skill of swordsmanship. My name is Shannuo and I am currently recruiting companions. The goal is to reach the top and become the strongest in the world. Shannuo smiled and told Zoro about his own goals and ambitions. I think you are a good guy. How is it, would you like to be my partner? Are you also a swordsman? Zoro didn't reply directly, but stared at Yunce in Shannuo's hand and said, no, swordsmanship is just one of my methods of attack. What I am really good at should be martial arts. Knowing what Zoro was thinking, Shannuo smiled slightly. Is that so? Hearing this, Zoro also showed an ugly smile on his face. It seems that you are not targeting the world's strongest swordsman. This is just right. After saving, I will hack you to death when I compete for that position. You guy really dare to say it. In other words, are you planning to follow me and move towards the top together, or just die in Marine's base? It seems that I don't have a third choice. Forget it, instead of dying here, I should become a criminal. Since you saved me, how about my life being sold to you? As Zoro said, his eyes suddenly became sharp, but the words are ahead, only my own ambitions, I will absolutely follow through to the end. My name is Roronoa Zoro, and I am a swordsman. The goal is to become the world's #1 swordsman. If you dare to stop my ambition, then you will apologize to me by laparotomy. Is it the #1 swordsman in the world? Shannuo smiled and said, it's not bad. The strongest man in the world matches the strongest swordsman in the world. It's a pretty good combination. You really dare to say. Zoro's mouth couldn't help but grinned. In that case, I promise to be your companion. No matter it is notoriety or whatever, I will be famous all over the world. As Zoro said this sentence, Shannuo's mind sounded again. Ding, quest, the world's #1 swordsman companion is completed, and rewards, 100 million berry, treasure tree atom Ching Long sea ship, paramesha lion fruit. 3 rewards, rich and boat, and devil fruit. And it's golden lion's lion fruit. Golden lion shouldn't die yet, right? It is indeed a system, and even devil fruit of those who are still alive can be given out as a reward. Shannuo looked at the lion fruit in the system space with a happy smile. But now is not the time to look at this. He raised the knife and dropped it, and cut the rope tied to Zoro with a stroke. As for Rika, it was an improper burden early and ran out of the field. It looks like something has gone wrong. Looking at the more and more Marines at the entrance of the empty field, Shannuo threw the Yunce famous knife in his hand to Zoro. Let's find your knife again after playing this game. Take this one for the time being. Before Shannuo's words were finished, Zoro rushed out like a gust of wind, chopped off the 2 Marines with knives in front, and took the knives in their hands. There are still 3 knives to make people feel at ease. He grinned while eating the 2 rice balls Li Jia brought him. Who is it that dared to make trouble in this uncle's sight? The Axeman Monka, who came to receive the news. His huge figure appeared in the empty field. Wearing a metal jaw with a marine mark, Monka with a sharp axe inserted into his right arm, looked at Shannuo and Zoro in the center of the field with extremely indifferent eyes. It seemed as though 2 ants were watching from above. Are you out, Colonel Monka, the supreme ruler of the branch in this town? At the moment Monka appeared, the task continued to appear in Shannuo's mind. Ding, release mission, overthrow the tyranny, save the town. Defeat the ugly power in the town, liberate the town and marine, and get rich rewards for completing the mission. Has the task been released again? Every task is always so appropriate, I like it. Shannuo looked at Monka's eyes and couldn't help but gleam slightly. Shannuo has also learned about the experience of Monka. He used to be a passionate recruiter, but once, the marine of the entire warship was killed by 100 tactics, Clow, and Monka was also crushed with his chin, and his mind was greatly stimulated. Crow's men praised him for hypnosis, making him think he had caught Crow. He handed over the pretending Crow to Marine, and thus became the ensign of Marine 153 branch. However, Zhang Gao's hypnosis also changed his personality, making his temperament drastically changed. Later, Monka made efforts to become a colonel, the actual ruler of the 153 branch and the town of Shells. However, he also became a cruel man, allowing his son Balloon to sit idly by and ignore his behavior in the small town. Build a giant statue for yourself. The final fate, I also understand it, but because of his brilliant record of slashing Garp with an axe, he was given the nickname, Axe King. You despicable and lowly foreigners, dare to make trouble in my territory and kill them for me. Axe Emperor Monka waved his axe, and the soldiers under his command hesitated slightly. They still took the picture of Monka's power and raised their muzzle. And the moment they raised their guns, Free Swords Tornado. The strong sword pressure wrapped up all the surrounding marine soldiers, like a dragon rising into the sky, rolling up all the targets, causing the soldiers to suffer double damage from blowing and slashing. Nice powerful move, Shannuo approvingly commented, and immediately used his feet to rush towards the Axe Emperor Menka, who has become a lonely family. 6 types shave. You guys who are inferior and have no titles. Monka was still furious for Zoro's killing of his subordinates, and he didn't feel Shannuo's approach at all. When he found out, it was already a little late. Finger Pistol Beast Yan. One wrapped around armament hockey, with a jet black fist hitting his chest and abdomen straight. This is a special extended version of Finger Pistol. Yuyan does not use fingers to attack, but a deformed finger pistol, attacking by boxing. Although the attack power is inferior to the general finger pistol, its destructive power is not bad. Although Shannuo does not currently have life return and 6 king spears, some 6 basic extension skills will still be used. For example, finger pistols Beast Yan, Tempest Kicks Jo Duan, etc., and high-level flying finger pistol and iron body boxing techniques, etc., are not so good. Boom! The dull sound of punching into the flesh sounded. After Monka received this punch, the metal-fixed jaw drooped uncontrollably, and the pupils of the 2 eyes slid inward as much as possible, his mouth was big and his expression was distorted. Woo! Under the heavy punch of Shannuo, Monka's body flew straight out like a cannonball, and slammed into the giant sculpture he had built. Boom! The sound of the collision between the flesh and the sculpture sounded and turned into countless white gravel scattered into the sky. This huge voice attracted the attention of everyone present. That's Colonel Monka. Unexpectedly, Colonel Menka was beaten into the air. And it's still a unilateral crush. The Marines of the 153 branch were shocked, and inexplicably, the mountain Monka that was pressing on their heads was so easily solved. For a moment, their minds were greatly shaken, and the swords and muskets in their hands fell involuntarily. As it ended, the Marines lost their fighting consciousness, and Zoro also took down the famous sword Yunce that was biting in his mouth. He looked at the huge broken sculpture in the distance, and his mind was also slightly shaken. Unexpectedly, his martial arts physique would be so powerful. His eyes turned from shock to fanaticism. I seem to have followed a terrific guy. The moment Shannuo hit Menkafe, he had already received the notification tone that the mission was completed. Ding! Task: overthrow the tyranny, save the town completed, get reward, 200 points. Is it a power value of 200 points? Counting the previous 2,000 points, there are 20 points, and the defeat effect, the improvement gained by defeating Menka, is only 2 points. It seems that the strength gap is too big to get too much boosting power. The total sum of 0 and 0, the current Shannuo power value has almost reached 2,222 points, which is stronger than Kaku. But this is really a fascinating number. Shannuo shook his hand, and then looked at the numerous Marines standing there in confusion, shrugged and walked to Zoro's side. Let's go. He patted Zoro on the shoulder. Okay, Captain. Ha ha ha. The 2 of them easily found Zoro's 3 knives in Balloomber's room. However, when Shannuo walked into Monka's office along the way, looking for news about the Grand Line chart, he found that someone had already boarded it first. A young girl with orange hair and youthful air was searching for something in Monka's room. When the 2 of Shannuo discovered the girl, she had already looked at the information that had been turned out from the safe and shouted out. The chart of the Grand Line, is it in the immortal buggy? And just after she finished shouting, she suddenly realized something was wrong, turned her head abruptly, and saw Shannuo and Zoro looking at her with plain eyes. The corners of her mouth twitched slightly, her eyes twitched, trying to find some excuse. That clown buggy. Shannuo smiled slightly and said to the girl with orange hair, since the chart is with him, you must go find him for a while. If you drop in, would you like to join us? act with these two guys of unknown origin? The orange-haired girl glanced at Shannuo and couldn't help but curl her lips. Although you are more handsome, I am not the kind of person who is obsessed with looks. Just when she was about to refuse to find a chance to escape, she suddenly saw that Shannuo, inadvertently, revealed a stack of berry banknotes in her pocket. $_. This, no problem. My navigation skills are not bad. I can just guide you. After I get the chart, I only need to copy the sample. She waved her hand with a smile, with a lively and lovely face. Really? That's great. Let me introduce you. My name is Shannuo. This is the new partner Zoro I just recruited. My name is Nami. When Shannuo and the newly acquainted Nami left, the entire empty field had become a sea of joy. Great. Monka was overthrown. Finally liberated. Finally, I don't have to be dominated by Monka anymore. The defeat of Monka means not only that the town was liberated, but also the marine branch. In Rigia's restaurant in Shell's town, Zoro, who had been hungry for 3 weeks, gobbled up his energy there, while Nami was drinking juice while Shannuo had a quiet meal there. There were only 3 people in the entire restaurant with the owner, Legia, and his daughter. The rest of the residents of the town who came after hearing the news were outside the restaurant, looking inside very curiously. Ah, I'm full. After releasing the tableware, Zoro breathed out comfortably, with a look of contentment on his face. So, besides me, how many people have you found? He asked Shannuo, who had also finished eating, and wiped his mouth there. I remember you said you were gathering your companions. Since you declared that you want to be the strongest in the world, you must have gathered a lot of outstanding and powerful people, right? Do you think if I have other people, as the boss, I will personally rescue you? Shannuo squinted at Zoro, and once again had a new understanding of his IQ. That means, Zoro didn't feel that his IQ was despised. He pointed to himself and Shannuo stiffly, just the 2 of us. If not, what about the boat? There should always be a boat carrying us. It shouldn't be that kind of boat, right? Zoro had a bad feeling in his heart. If it was before, it would still be a small boat, but now. There was a smile on Shannuo's face that made people feel quite reliable. Of course not, but I found a very good boat, the best in the world. Zoro looked outside and found that apart from a few small canoes, there were no decent ships at the dock, not even cargo ships, and he couldn't help but look at Shannuo with suspicion. Nami, who quietly drank the juice next to him, listened to the conversation between the 2 without saying a word. These 2 people seem to be a little silly and stupid. If you want to steal so many berry, it should be easy to think of. Lucky, I met a fat sheep. Thinking about this, she saw Shannuo get up and beckon her to leave. Go, it's time to go to the next destination. On the dock, Zoro and Nami were looking around. Hey, Captain, tell me where is your boat? Zoro squinted his eyes for several times, but he didn't notice any good boats here. Except for a small canoe tied there. Well, that is the small fishing boat carried by Shannuo from Windmill Village. Don't worry, this is coming out, look forward to it. While speaking, Shannuo smiled and raised his hand. Come out. Zoro and Nami had just seen this question mark in their minds when they suddenly saw a huge black shadow covering the sun and appearing in front of them. A brand new brig lay on the sea level. Chapter 11. The overall shape and size of the ship is almost the same as the original version of Luffy's Sazan Sunny made on the 7th City of Water. The overall hue of the hull is dominated by blue, mixed with dotted white, setting off the 3 themes of Wang Yang, the sea, the blue sky, and the white flowing clouds. There are also many well-equipped cabins with exquisite appearance, deck steps, protective railings, observation decks at the top of the masts. There is no shortage of all the necessary facilities, and it can be seen that the quality is definitely the best in the world. After all, these facilities are built with Baoshu atom as raw materials, and their firmness is absolutely guaranteed. Produced by the system, it must be a boutique. The bow is set against the name of the Ching Long treasure ship, which is made of a vivid blue dragon head. The dragon head as a whole is made of the most precious material in the world, and its pair of dragon whiskers exudes extraordinary brilliance under the sun, and the haki is scattered. Above the blue dragon's head, there are 2 hanging pointed rods that extend straight forward, resembling the 2 dragon horns of a blue dragon. On both sides of the hull, there are dragons that meander away, making the whole ship completely modeled on a dragon. This is so cool. Zoro and Nami opened their mouths and couldn't close together. The sudden appearance of an unprecedentedly beautiful treasure ship brought them an unparalleled impact. They had never seen such a majestic treasure ship before. And many more. Sudden appearance. The two of them seemed to have grasped the point, and their open mouths couldn't help but close. Hey, Shannuo, how did you change this ship? Zoro was very shocked and puzzled. He remembered that Shannuo suddenly took out the Yunt's famous knife when he was at the execution ground. This caused great curiosity in Zoro's heart. Haha, have you heard of devil fruit? Shannuo, who was also shocked by the majesty of the ship, heard Zoro's question and couldn't help covering up her embarrassment with a smile. As the owner of a sea-going ship, it was the first time he saw him, and he didn't expect the hull to be so beautiful. Great, my system, devil fruit. Zoro was lost in thought when he heard the words. I heard people talk in the bar, saying that there is something called devil fruit in this world, which can bring powerful and peculiar power to people. It is called the secret treasure of the sea, but it has basically never appeared in East Blue. So people once doubted the authenticity of the news, but didn't expect it to be true. Of course it is true. Devil fruit not only exists, but there are also many types. This kind of common sense thing will be explained to you later. You only need to know that I can do it with devil fruit's ability. Besides, except for me, besides ourselves, the opponent we will face next, Buggy the Clown, is also a devil fruit capable person. His immortality also comes from his devil fruit's ability, especially for swordsmen. Is that so? Hearing something about the swordsman, Zoro was immediately diverted, with a look of interest on his face. If that were the case, I would want to meet him. On the side, Nami, after closing his mouth, stared at the Ching Long treasure ship tightly, the light in his eyes getting brighter and brighter. If this ship is sold, it can definitely sell for a good price. The money from selling the boat, plus my savings over the years, can definitely make up 100 million berry. Coco Yaxi Village, is it finally about to usher in the day of liberation? Nami's mind trembled, but she soon recovered her sanity, glanced at Shannuo and Zoro who were talking without a trace, and quietly clenched her hands into fists. Don't worry, you must not worry. Victory is here. I want to calm down and find a suitable opportunity to abduct the ship. She deeply understands that the hope of saving the village and town lies on this valuable ship. This is the first time I have taken such a luxurious and comfortable boat. After getting on the boat, Zoro found the softest piece of grass and lay down, with a comfortable expression on his face. At this moment, he felt that it was a more correct choice to mix with Shannuo. Nami looked around from all corners of the ship, and when he understood the overall situation of the ship, he secretly evaluated the ship. Observatory, kitchen, storage room, bedroom, study. It can be said that there are everything you need, and the style and decoration are better than the so-called noble luxury merchant ships she has boarded. I don't know how many times better. This can definitely sell for a sky-high price. Nami couldn't help his heart beating wildly. Maybe, the value of this ship alone is enough to buy Kokoyasi village. In this way, after buying the village, the money I have accumulated over the years can be retained and become my own private money. Nami felt that happiness had come so suddenly. Qianjing and the bright future were constantly beckoning to her. She looked at the two guys on the boat again, an idiot-looking swordsman with a green algae head, and a young and handsome boy who looked like a novice with little travel adventure experience. Looks so foolish. What are you looking at, Shannuo? The grass rest area was too comfortable. Zoro yawned, looked at Shannuo who was standing there and looking up, and asked curiously. I was thinking, it would be a shame not to hang a flag on such a beautiful treasure ship. Shannuo retracted his gaze and said, indeed, but we defeated Colonel Marine in the town. We should be convicted of criminals and pirates, right? In this sea, there seem to be only 4 broad definitions of criminals. Pirates, bandits, assailants, thieves. You can tell the difference by looking at the name. Like Shannuo Zoro, those who commit crimes but sail for their own goals are generally defined by Marine as pirates. Pirate, it's not unacceptable. It's just that the names of the pirate flag and the pirate group are a bit difficult to decide. Shannuo rubbed his brows and thought. How about just calling the Berry Pirates? Nami, who wants to pull in the relationship and complete the acquaintance, said deliberately in order to liven up the atmosphere. This is too ugly. Zoro's mouth twitched. Then it's called the Money Pirate Group. This is not as good as the one just now. Treasure Pirates. Quote. What else can you think of besides money? Decided. Just as Nami and Zoro sang together, as if they were talking about a crosstalk, Shannuo's fist hit his palm. Just call it this name. He looked at the two people who looked over, smiled firmly and said. Faya Pirate Group. Faya. Zoro and Nami looked at each other. The name seems pretty good. With so many vulgar names called by Nami, Zoro feels that this name is much better than before. And it was the captain, so the name must have some meaning and profound meaning, and he will not violate the captain's wishes. As for Nami, she, who is planning to abduct the boat, doesn't care about her name or anything. Faya, these two words naturally have the meaning of Shannuo, which contains two meanings. Flying man, flying, Luffy's flying, man, Shannuo homophony. However, Shannuo said, it is necessary to take Luffy's share and work hard together. In addition, in the system space backpack of Shannuo, there is the lion fruit of Golden Lion distributed by the system. Doesn't the ability to fly and float reflect the name of this pirate group? Shannuo clicked a thumbs up for her wit. Ever since, in the case of unanimous approval, the Faya Pirates group was officially established. With the name of the pirate group, the next step is naturally the decision about the pirate flag. Shannuo added a wing to the left and right sides of the original basic skeleton, one white and one gray. At the position of the mouth on the skull's face, there was a radian, almost exactly the same as the smile on Luffy's face. Look at Luffy, your smile and will always be with me and live in my heart forever. Under Shannuo's intermediate drawing ability in the previous monthly lottery, a lifelike and interesting-looking pirate flag image was born under Shannuo's pen. Very good banner, Captain. Zoro, a road idiot who has no artistic cells, is full of praise for the patterns drawn by Shannuo. Nami also nodded from the heart. It is indeed much better than those fierce pirate banners. The pirate group's name, pirate flag, and pirate ship are all available, and the prototype of a pirate group has basically been constructed. The next thing is a group of suitable and excellent crew members. Looking at the endless blue sea, several people appeared in front of Shannuo's eyes. Wait, I will pull you all aboard. When Shannuo determined the name and flag of the pirate group, it was near the waters of East Blue Gothic Island. Has it been solved? Although it is only 5 million berry, but in this ocean, it can be a big pirate who can do harm to one side. Garp clapped his hands and grinned as he watched Alvida's pirate ship and pirate flag, which was about to sink into the sea. Then, Alvida Pirates, is there such a handyman who slipped through the net? Garp looked in front of him because he didn't know if it was agitated or scared. He wore round glasses and had pink hair, and he questioned him. And in a corner of this warship, a young man wearing a straw hat and a collar with a small amount of seastone elements around his neck was unwilling to clear the deck. The grandfather actually used me as a handyman, and said that this is a trial for me, and then he will send me to the marine prison. But no matter what, I will succumb. I must go to sea to become a pirate king. The three of Shannuo slowly left the town under the attention and salute of all the residents of Shell's Town and all Marines in the G153 branch. The pirate who can be thanked by Marine and the residents feels pretty good, worthy of a chivalrous character. According to the information obtained from Monka's office, Buggy the Clown is currently operating in the waters near Orange Town. Not surprisingly, he should have invaded that town. A group of people moved quickly towards the direction of Orange Town. It has to be said that the performance of the Ching Long is simply a blow to other pirate ships, the displacement is very large, and the speed is really not slow. Well, with the determination of the name of the pirate group, the name of the pirate ship Shannuo was also directly determined, and the name was as it was called the Blue Dragon. A cold front accompanied by low clouds has been found in the southern sky. I am afraid that there will be squally showers soon, turning the rudder to the left and forward. On the observation deck, Nami stood there giving orders, with a relaxed expression on his face. She really enjoyed the feeling of sailing with sailing skills, especially the performance of this ship is so good, no matter what sailing arrangements she made, the Azure Dragon could perfectly follow her instructions to complete the action. This made her reluctant to sell the ship just like that. At least sell at a price that exceeds the market price by more than 30%. Nami secretly swears in her heart that only in this way can she be worthy of the weight of the Azure Dragon in her mind. Upon receiving Nami's order, Shannuo hit the palm of her hand and steered the helm in the direction she said. Originally, the task of steering the helm should be done by the crew. How could Captain Shannuo do it? But Nami needs to observe the weather, and she is not strong enough to steer. And Zoro, would you dare to let Zoro take the helm? Front left, he can beat you back right, believe it or not. There is no doubt about this kind of operation, he must be able to do it. His Lukai skills have definitely reached the perfect level, and it is perfect in perfection. It seems that we still need to find a suitable helm. Shannuo thought so, and soon took the boat away from the stormy sea area. Very good. At this rate, we expect to be able to reach Orange Town this afternoon. Nami leapt down from the observation tower with a vigorous figure. Let's have dinner, I'm almost starving to death. Zoro, who was training on the side, saw that it was time to eat, and consciously put the barbell aside and leaned closer. Shannuo, he coughed slightly. When Nami jumped down just now, because he was wearing a short skirt, he seemed to see something that he shouldn't see. However, he immediately concealed the past, and backhand took out plates of meat staple fruits such as boned meat, sandwiches, orange pie and so on. These are all Shannuo's previous savings in the space backpack. Shannuo's cooking skills are only elementary, so I won't show them. What's more, he was too miserable as the captain, right? He is at the helm and cook again, almost like a babysitter. Let's eat the ready-made ones. Zoro and Nami are almost immune to Shannuo's sudden handout. They already knew that this was the ability of Devil Fruit that Shannuo said, and it was not his own ability. Devil Fruit is divided into 3 categories, Paramesha, Zone, and Logia. They have also understood clearly that in addition to human creatures, there are also technologies that allow objects to eat Devil Fruit in this world. Shannuo declared to them that his pocket uses this technology to eat Paramesha's backpack, which can hold large space items. These foods, as well as the previous Ching Long, were all taken out of his pocket using the power of the backpack's fruit. This made Nami secretly scream. In addition to this ship, she originally wanted to clean up all the berry on Shannuo, but as a result, all those berry were loaded by Devil Fruit's abilities, and she had no way to start. Later, after observing carefully for a long time, she found out that there was no chance to start. She was very frustrated and unwilling to dispel the idea. After announcing his fictional backpack fruit, Shannuo took out the lion fruit from the space backpack in a quiet night. It was covered with weird spiral patterns. It didn't look like a fruit very much. On the contrary, it looked like a peculiar orange devil fruit with patches of clouds. As a senior up master of One Piece, Shannuo had seen 8 devil fruit illustrations published in One Piece's official magazine before crossing. Namely Wonkwon fruit, shadow fruit, everyone fruit, flower fruit, wax fruit, munch fruit, mixed fruit and phantom fruit. Shannuo uses the illustrations of these fruits and the known mara fruit, dark fruit, string fruit, rubber fruit, op fruit, bubble fruit, golden fruit, giraffe fruit, chop fruit. Made a dedicated video of Devil Fruit illustrated book, but it was very impressive. In the official magazine illustration, the appearance of wax fruit is a white lantern dripping with white wax, the appearance of flower fruit is simply a flower, munch fruit is a red tooth like blood, chopper the fruit of everyone is simply a red and yellow mushroom. If you are interested, you can search for it, but the shadow fruit and the yellow spring fruit seem to be relatively high. Shannuo bit off most of the cloud-shaped lion fruit in one bite, and the expression on his face was very distorted at the time. It's really unpalatable to the extreme. But immediately, Shannuo could feel that he had acquired the ability to float. Lion fruit can give people the ability to fly, and can control the surrounding things, let the surrounding objects float, and make the objects not controlled by gravity. It can be said to be a very powerful and capable devil fruit. After gaining the power of lion fruit, Shannuo tried to develop it during the next voyage. So far, it has been slightly effective. During this period of voyage, Shannuo also showed off the ability of flying in front of Zoro and Nami, letting them know the name of the ability of Shannuo lion fruit. But speaking of it, floating and flying is indeed much more comfortable than just walking. After lunch, soon, the outline of the island town gradually emerged in front of the three of them. The same appeared at the coastal wharf, the unusually bright pirate ship with the flag of the Buggy pirate group flying. Is it all already in town? On the deck of the Buggy pirate ship, Zoro put down a left-behind pirate soldier who had been beaten with a knifeless flow to make his nose swollen, and got his evaluation. As soon as they approached, they followed what they had done as pirates and came on board to kill. But the people who stay here are small soldiers, cadres and captains, all seem to be on the island. Yeah, leave them alone. Anyway, the treasure on the ship is just here. Nami's eyes glowed like money, and he knew 2 treasure chests from the depths of the pirate ship. After opening it, looking at the Huang Can treasure inside, the smile on her face was even brighter than a flower. I've heard of Buggy the Clown. He is a guy who treats treasures as his life. Since he is on the island, he will never rest assured that he will leave the treasures on the boat and leave it to some weaker brothers to take care of him. I think most of the treasures of their pirate group were brought to the island by him. Before Shannuo finished the analysis, she heard Nami shout from the sky full of fighting spirit. Okay, the next goal is the treasure of the Buggy Pirates and the nautical chart of the Grand Line. Don't add targets without authorization, hello. Zoro spit out mercilessly. Then he showed a very interested expression. Because of Devil Fruit's ability, is it equivalent to an immortal for the swordsman? I really want to see it. Shannuo also wanted to meet this guy who was judged by Jinbei, Crocodile, and Ivankov as a stain on the One Piece ship, with the legendary conqueror's luck. I don't know if he is really hiding his strength or is naturally lucky. The guy who can be regarded as a brother by the red hair should have some merits, right? The three had their own ideas. After stopping the Blue Dragon, they picked up a little brother who was still a little awake and moved towards the base where Buggy was on the island. Orange Town is known as East Blue because of its abundance of oranges. As an indispensable medicine for sailing on the sea and preventing necrosis, oranges with a lot of vitamins are highly sought after by East Blue people. Especially the oranges in Orange Town, the quality is extremely good. While this brought great wealth and prosperity to the residents, it was inevitably targeted by numerous pirates. If it were the rubbish pirates of the past, the strong villagers could handle it by themselves. But this time, the infringement on the village is the top 3 in the entire East Blue. The big pirate who has a bounty of more than 10 million berry, has the title of immortality, the Clown Buggy. Boom. When Shannuo and Zoro were eating oranges picked from a roadside orange tree in their hands, a roar sounded in their ears. Turning his head, I saw that the position of their right hand had already turned into a sea of flames. A large number of houses were destroyed, and endless black smoke rose in the air. What is this? Seeing this tragic picture like purgatory on earth, Nami didn't feel that he was covering his mouth. This is Captain Buggy's trick. Buggy bombs are much more powerful than ordinary shells. The little brother under control honestly told out the information. Buggy bomb. Shannuo looked at the sea of flames in front of him, with fiery red light reflected in her pupils. She didn't know what she was thinking. Careful. At this moment, a panicked voice rang in Shannuo's ears. When I looked up, I saw only a Buggy bullet fired again, which happened to fly towards them. Oops. Zoro's face clenched. He saw the power of the shell just now, and now he was not sure that he could cut it apart. Nami slipped the little brother who was about to urinate, and ran to the side in a panic. Shannuo stood there and said nothing, but raised his hand slightly, and the famous sword Yunce appeared in his hand again. It's a pretty good shell, but that's it. He smiled and said to himself, followed by the sound of the blade being unsheathed. Crack. A brilliant blade of light that made people close their eyes subconsciously flashed, and the flying chopping wave like a wind blade slashed straight toward the flying cannonball. Woo! As if a sharp blade cut through tofu paper, the chopping wave from Shannuo split the special Buggy bomb in half without any hindrance. Boom! The explosion happened directly in midair, and its power and momentum were much smaller than before. Okay, so awesome. Nami, who was running away, heard the movement and turned back, and saw the scene just now. His eyes were full of shock. Can any school that is good at martial arts practice swordsmanship to this level? Zoro, who watched Shannuo's slash all the way, was fluctuating in his heart. He held the hand of the white knife at his waist and couldn't help but clench it even harder. I'm still far behind. I'm not enough. I have to become stronger. Stronger. Well, the slash entangles armament hockey, it's more powerful than I thought. Shannuo nodded in satisfaction with the black entanglement on the hand and the blade of the knife, and reinserted the knife to recover it. Let's go. He strode the first to walk in the direction where the cannonball was fired. At this time, on the roof of the widest and tallest house in Orange Town. Ha ha ha, little ones, give me more drinks and more food. Today is really a good harvest. The legendary trainee pirate, Buggy, a clown with a red nose and acrobatic clothes, holding a wine glass in one hand and a piece of meat in the other, he laughed during the banquet and was very uncomfortable. Unexpectedly, this small town is small, and the accumulated wealth is so amazing. The proceeds from this looting are almost equal to the amount of treasure we obtained in the previous half year. The smooth request for gold and silver jewelry makes Buggy feel very happy now. Drink together, sing together, this is the life the so-called pirates should live. Buggy laughed, a little drunk already on his face. Suddenly, with a dimly drunk glance, he saw three strange guys suddenly standing next to him, watching the banquet there, neither eating nor drinking, nor singing or laughing, incompatible with the atmosphere of the banquet. Hey, how did you guys do it? It's rare to have a banquet, smile on my face, and be happy. The man will do acrobatics for me, and the woman will come to drink with me, ha ha ha, it's really beautiful little girl. Buggy laughed drunk, but soon he realized something was wrong. Wait, girl, when did my pirate group have female members? Before his brain numbed by alcohol could react, he suddenly saw a fist getting bigger and bigger in front of him. Boom, the fist hit Buggy's face door exactly, causing his entire head to fly out with snot, saliva and some tears. Boom, this fist was so powerful that it directly blasted Buggy's head into the wall on the side, making a violent sound, and also pierced a big hole in the wall. This huge movement couldn't help causing other members of the Buggy Pirates group who were laughing to stop. The atmosphere of singing and dancing is also instantaneous. What? I can't avoid such an ordinary straight punch. It seems that it is really just good luck, and the strength is not very good at all. Shannuo retracted her fist in disappointment, and shook her head to Buggy's body that had fallen on the ground and rolled over with pain. The head flew out. Zoro and Nami were shocked again by the scene before them. Although Shannuo has informed them in advance that Buggy is a so-called chop fruit-capable person whose body can be split freely without being hacked. But I heard it was one thing, and seeing it with my own eyes was another. The actual scene of the scene brought them a lot of impact. Captain Buggy, how is this going? Is it an alien intruder? Hey, you pirates are the invaders, right? Oh yes, we are also pirates now. Shannuo shook his head, and saw that the banquet crowd separated and three figures walked out. Two guys with gloomy faces, and a huge, drooling lion with a fierce face. The deputy captain of the Buggy pirate group, the animal trainer Moki, the chief of staff Kui Kabaki. There is also the lion niche who thinks about food all day long. Who are you? Why do you dare to trespass our base, and you dare to disrespect our Captain Buggy? Do you want to die? Shannuo's expression was lacking in interest when asked by Moki and the others. For such a small character, he couldn't get the slightest interest at all, and he might not even be able to get a strength value of 0.1 when he defeated it. Zoro, these three guys will be handled by you, is that okay? Understood, absolutely no problem. Before Shannuo's words were finished, Zoro had tied the green turban on his head, with an excited smile on his face. Zoro, he said Zoro, and, 3 knives, is he the most famous bounty hunter, pirate hunter, Roronoa Zoro in East Blue? When Kabaji and Moki heard the name, their faces changed suddenly. But no one answered their questions. Shannuo and Zoro continued to chat about the gods. It doesn't matter how you concoct those two guys, that lion left me a life. Why, the boat just lacks a cleaning handyman. This lion is still a bit spiritual and has so much strength. It can save a lot of trouble by taking out the garbage and cleaning the toilet. It also makes people look very stylish when going out. Learn. The entire conversation, treating them as nothing at all, made the two of Kabaji a little angry. Especially Moki, when they heard that they had regarded their beloved pet lion niche as something in the bag, they couldn't help being very angry. He snorted coldly. HMPH, if you want to enslave the niche, just let you guys stop joking. I will hang you one by one, right niche? Woo, I was thinking of the niche of grilled soury in my mind, with saliva ticking in my mouth, and nodded vigorously. Acrobatics nodging burns. Here, Kabaji couldn't help but rushed up first. However, Ghost Cut. The answer to him was Zoro's three-sword mastery, Demon Slash, in his heyday. It seems there should be no need to worry about it here. Shannuo watched as the bloody Kabaji fell off the roof and nodded when he was cut over by Zoro. So, for me, the only guy with prey here is you, Buggy the clown with a red nose. Shannuo looked at the black line full of anger, flying out of the ruined wall, and Buggy reunited with the body, and said indifferently. Just when he first saw Buggy, the task system that was never late and absent clinked in his mind. Ding, post-mission, evil red nose, save the town. Drive away the red-nosed pirates who invaded the town, restore stability to the town, and get rich rewards for completing the mission. Ding, release mission, stain on the One Piece ship. Defeat the crew of the former One Piece and the married brothers of the four emperors to prove their strength. Complete the mission and get rich rewards. As expected, Buggy, the clown with conqueror's luck, can not only bring good luck to himself, but also full luck to his opponents. There are two tasks. The first one seems to be nothing, but the second one can be known by just looking at the introduction. If completed, the reward will definitely not be low. Shannuo has figured out the consistent routine of this system. If the task profile released is very good, then the reward is absolutely rich. Shannuo looked at Buggy in front of him, her eyes gleaming, but Buggy's face was very bad. Who did you say? The blue veins on his forehead violently, with the red nose. It's over, that guy touched Captain Buggy's taboo. That is the last thing to say to Captain Buggy. Run, Captain Buggy is going to get angry. The Buggy pirates who were originally sharpening their swords and preparing to take Shannuo and Nami forward, heard Shannuo call Buggy a red nose, and immediately fled in fright, leaving the entire field empty. Very good, at least no one has come out to get in the way. You fool, I will let you know that death is also an extravagant thing. Look at this trick of mine, it will fall apart. As soon as the voice fell, Buggy's two hands were filled with throwing knives, and he broke away from his arms and shot at Shannuo. It's so slow, have you really experienced it on One Piece's ship? Without observation hockey, Shannuo tilted his head slightly to avoid the throwing knife. But is it wrong to call you a red nose? Shanks got such a nickname because of that eye-catching red hair. It's obvious that your red nose is more eye-catching. Why is it called a clown instead? Immediately, Shannuo's footsteps slammed on the ground, and the whole figure rushed out instantly. 6 types shave. In the next second, his figure appeared in front of Buggy with a dumbfounded look. You guy, why do you know this kind of thing? The answer to him was the black iron fist wrapped around countless armament hockey. Finger pistol beast fighting severely. The special finger pistol extension technique is an enhanced version of Beast Yan. It first creates multiple clones, and then sieges the enemy with continuous punches. Since the slash has no effect on the splitting ability, the blow is not necessarily. Especially this is the pinnacle of physical skills, a 6-style trick, and it is also wrapped in an armed hockey. Under the full blow of 2222 Dao power, the power acting on the body is definitely not to be underestimated. In an instant, Buggy's body was hit by Shannuo dozens of punches, 360 degrees without dead ends. Blood vomited out of his mouth desperately, his eyes were white, and there was a dent on his body where the fist was concentrated and hit by the naked eye. 6 styles. Armament hockey. Why would anyone use such physical skills in this Near East blue? This was the puzzled thought in Buggy's mind, and it was the last thought in his life. Shannuo didn't plan to let Buggy make a living. Not to mention burning, killing and looting, but launching Buggy bombs that wantonly destroy towns and destroy lives. This alone has no reason for Buggy to continue to survive. What's more, Shannuo also wants to see what kind of good things the system's pickup ability will find out from Buggy. Under the beast's severe beating, hundreds of armed and heavy fists attacked, and the internal body suffered serious damage, which gradually caused Buggy's vitality to fade away. Soon, he turned his eyes and tilted his head and said goodbye to the world. Since then, the future will be swaying the sea, and the war on the top will call the wind and rain. The legendary career of Captain Buggy has come to an end in a small town in East Blue. Boom. The sound of her body falling to the ground sounded, and Shannuo was also slightly relieved when she saw Buggy was completely uplifted. He is really worried that Buggy's conqueror's luck will suddenly start and escape to heaven. But now it seems that his powerful luck has not yet awakened. Shannuo shook his head, and instead of looking at the reminder that the task was completed in his mind, he walked to Buggy, who had lost his life, and activated his pickup ability against his corpse. Get. Chop Chop Fruit ability. Acquired. Grand Line, New World Secret Experience. These are two things Shannuo touched out of Buggy's body, which made him very satisfied. Unexpectedly, Devil Fruit's ability can really be touched. Asterisk. Chop Chop Fruit, undoubtedly, is a special dish developed by Buggy for the ability of Paramesha Devil Fruit. Although Chop Chop Fruit is just a superhuman ability in Paramesha, if you develop it well, you might not be able to gain powerful power. Paramesha's Devil Fruit can be roughly divided into 5 types. Superhuman body, superpowers, local abilities, creation and dominance. Luffy's Rubber Fruit is a superhuman body, Whitebeard's Shock Fruit is a superpower, Cracker's Biscuit Fruit is a creation, Big Bear's Meatball Fruit is a local supernatural power, Pika's Stone Fruit and Tezzolo's Golden Fruit it belongs to domination. And some Paramesha Devil Fruits belong to Special Paramesha, taking into account 2 or even multiple types of abilities at the same time. For example, the Waxy Glutinous Fruit of Katakuri has both the abilities of superhuman body and creation at the same time. Although Chop Chop Fruit is a type of superhuman body, if it develops awakening, it can release its splitting ability, affect the surrounding things and use it as a means of confronting the enemy. Its power is definitely not weaker than those top Devil Fruits. You know, this is the Devil Fruit ability that can evade even Hawkeye's world's #1 slash that entangles Haki. Unfortunately, such a powerful Devil Fruit fell into Buggy's hands. Fortunately, Shannuo found this ability from his body, and then Shannuo will carry forward the fragmented ability. The other secret of Grand Line and New World that I found out is what Buggy saw, heard and felt when he followed the ship of One Piece Gall D. Roger all the way. Sky Island, the Battle of 8 Wall, the clash with the Whitebeard Pirates. All kinds of adventures can be described as exciting. However, Shannuo is very speechless. She has experienced countless battles, large and small, and participated in some top battles. Why is Buggy's strength still so weak? In the fight with the many good players on the Whitebeard ship, the red hair was also left 3 scars on his left eye by Blackbeard, but Buggy did not have a shit. It was really incredible. Forget it, people are already dead anyway, it doesn't make much sense to think so much. After shaking his head and clearing these thoughts, Shannuo began to check the reward for completing the task this time. Ding, quest, Evil Red Nose, save the town completed, get reward, 300 Dao power. Ding, quest, stain on the One Piece ship completed, get rewards, Conqueror's Hockey Intermediate, Flying Slash, Advanced Swordsmanship, 6 skills advanced, Devil Fruit Radar. It is also the task of saving the town. Maybe Buggy is much stronger than Monka, and the reward of Dao power is 100 more points. And what makes Shannuo most pleasantly surprised is the reward after the second mission. Needless to say, the mid-level Conqueror's Hockey, the ability of swordsmanship has also been upgraded to a high level that can slash out and slash at will, and can also be called a swordsman in this sea. 6 types have also been upgraded to advanced levels. Those advanced fusion skills such as Finger Pistol, Iron Body Fist, Razor, Martial Arts Paper Arts, Moonwalk Sea Walk, Tempest Kick Die can also be used smoothly without any hindrance. The strength of Shannuo can be said to have improved a lot. And what made him most happy was that among the rewards this time, he received another item related to Devil Fruit. Devil Fruit Radar. Within a certain range, you can search for the location of Devil Fruit. It's just that this range can be large or small, and the range that can be detected is different every time the radar is turned on. For example, the last time it was turned on, it could detect 5 nautical miles, maybe the next time it was turned on, the range might be only 1 nautical mile. It still depends on the face. But something is better than nothing, and Shannuo is very satisfied with this reward. In this way, it is really a right choice to find Buggy in Orange Town, and it is full of rewards. When Shannuo was so emotional, Nami also suddenly jumped out carrying a big cloth bag. Long before Shannuo and Zoro started fighting, she sneaked into the warehouse here and stole all of Buggy's treasure inventory. Seeing the joy from the heart on her face, the amount is not low. Of course, there are a full 10 million berry here. It's really a Buggy who loves treasures, and the quality is all the top. And I have the grand line chart, and I can withdraw it. Nami patted his second culprit ditch and made no secret of his love for the treasure. He tightened the cloth bag tightly behind him even harder to prevent anyone from touching it. Is it only 10 million berry? Shannuo smiled inexplicably while looking at her system space, rewarding 100 million berry that had not been spent last time. 10 million berry, is that a lot? Okay, Captain, it's done according to your requirements. Click. Zoro stood with his knife, and in front of him was Moki, who was chopped down to the ground, who didn't know his life or death, and the niche who was knocked into a big bag with a knife handle, and fainted on the ground with tears. Good job, hard work. Shannuo patted him on the shoulder. The chart is already in hand, take the lion with you, let's withdraw first. There are already some people in dust on the top of the mountain. It seems that the residents of the small town are planning to come down and have a look at the situation. It is really not suitable for staying here. Good. Zoro is very obedient to carry the niche, but where are you going? We are going to the right, not the left. Can we go wrong if we follow others? Zoro. So embarrassing. The town was horrified by Buggy's use of shells. There are many ruined walls in the town, and there is nothing wrong with it being destroyed. Looking at the decline in front of him as he walked on the road, Nami was silent. She remembered the miserable situation in Kokoyashi village at the time, and felt a little for a while. It's really bleak. Zoro carried the niche and looked around. If you want to rebuild, you need a lot of money, right? When it comes to money, Nami's sentimental emotions are all gone. She wrapped the cloth bag tighter, looking at Shannuo and Zoro with alert in her eyes. But prices have dropped a bit recently, and a few million berry can be rebuilt. Shannuo said casually. In the original version, Luffy split Nami's treasure of 10 million berry from the Buggy warehouse into two, leaving half of it to the town. 5 million berry brought the town to life again, and the village chief also built a larger pet food store for pet dogs. Now, Shannuo left Buggy, the heads of Kabaji and Moki here. Buggy's head is worth 15 million berry, and his bounty alone is enough for the town to endure. Anyway, they are all pirates, and they can't get the bounty, just leave it to the town. Click. At the dock location, Nami put the treasure he got on the Azure Dragon, and Zoro also threw the lion niche in a corner of the ship. Hey, the chart is here, where is your home? We can send you a ride. Zoro was lying on his resting grass and said to Nami, who was counting his treasure. Go home. You don't need to worry about this, that's it. After Nami heard Zoro's question, his mind turned quickly, clapping his hands and smiling all over his face. I see your style of doing things, and I feel you are in harmony with me. How about it, let me join you. You have also seen my sailing skills, don't you happen to lack a good navigator on this ship now? Such a good boat, if it is damaged by reefs due to improper navigation, or damaged by thunderstorms, wouldn't it be a pity? Nami rubbed his hands, his face full of sincerity. But in her heart, there was another voice. I can't let this ship go anyway, even if I join them for the time being, I must achieve my goal. Is that true? Zoro thought for a while, recalling the convenience brought by the excellent sailing skills shown by Nami a few days ago. An excellent navigator is self-evident for the pirate ship. He didn't have any opinion on this. He turned his head and looked at Shannuo, who was placing a small object. Captain, what do you think? Nami is willing to join us. I am naturally welcome, the more like-minded partners, the better. Shannuo can do nothing, and at the same time a system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding, post-mission, worlds no. 1 navigator companion. Invite the future worlds no. 1 navigator to be a companion, and the mission will be rewarded with generous rewards. Well, since it's just a task release, it means that the current Nami on board is not a sincere partner at all. Well, let's talk about it later. Shannuo thought about it for a while, then left the matter behind and turned to study the devil fruit radar in her hand. This radar, which can detect devil fruit, looks very similar to the Dragon Ball radar in 7 Dragon Balls. And the method of use is similar. Pressing the top button means that the radar is turned on. Crack, flick, flick, flick. After it was turned on, the radar made this peculiar sound. What surprised Shannuo was that just after it was turned on, a light group appeared on the radar. That represents the location of Devil Fruit. I'm really lucky, I detected Devil Fruit the first time I turned it on. I didn't expect that in this legendary East Blue, Devil Fruit would actually be there. Shannuo looked at the mark on the radar and couldn't help getting excited. You know, Luffy's rubber fruit and Buggy's chop fruit are all obtained or eaten on the Grand Line, and Smoker's smoke fruit stationed in Logetown is also obtained on the Grand Line. Devil Fruit in East Blue is really a legend. Although I don't know what Devil Fruit is, it's exciting enough. The radar can only be used as a radar, and it is not a forensic catalog. It is impossible to know what kind of ability it is. I don't know if I will get Devil Fruit's picture book when signing in and drawing a lottery in the future. In that case, it will be much easier to distinguish Devil Fruit. Shannuo slapped her mouth and looked at the location of the Devil Fruit. Is it in the southeast? Okay, everyone has it, we are heading southeast. The captain decides the direction of the ship, so Zoro will naturally have no opinion. Southeast. Nami thought for a while. She remembers that the closest to here in the southeast, it seems to be Silabu village, right? I heard that there is a rich man living in that village, maybe I can cheat from there, borrow some berry. Okay, let's head southeast. Wow, a strange sound mixed in. Nami, who had been paying attention to the treasure, looked at the lion who had just woke up and couldn't help screaming. Oh, wake up, looks pretty good too. Shannuo put away the radar and walked towards the lion niche who had just woke up with a look of horror and bewilderment with a smile on her face. Wow, it looked at Zoro who was staring at it calmly and knocked it out, all kinds of sweat could not help showing on his forehead. I know you want to eat a lot of delicious food, what you want to eat, I will give you what I can give you, but... Shannuo squatted down and looked at the niche that understood human words before her eyes, revealing the face of Grey Wolf abducting Little Red Riding Hood. You have to work for me, work as a handyman on this ship, and use labor in exchange for your food. I am not too much of a person. You only need to be responsible for cleaning the whole ship's hygiene, dumping garbage, cleaning toilets, washing and drying clothes, wiping the deck masts, that's all for the time being, how about not many? I'm all right to you. Looking at the smile on Shannuo's face, Niche, who was pale and sad, shook his head hurriedly, a pair of lion claws couldn't help rubbing together, and his tongue was there to please. Not bad. Shannuo touched Niche's head with satisfaction, come on and work hard. I will reward you for a good job. Am I a particularly good talker? Are you the devil? Zoro and Nami, who watched the whole negotiation and chatting, thought silently in their hearts. They had some sympathy for Niche, but soon the thoughts disappeared. After Shannuo threw the mop, broom, apron or something to the niche and let it do the work, the two also played the style of Huang Shiren. Hey, niche, get me the iron body and add some weight. Wow, hey, niche, open an umbrella for me. The noon sun is too poisonous. Bring me sunscreen by the way. Wow, the niche soon became the echo worm on the ship, whoever greets it, it can only serve it honestly. This can't help but make it miserable, and I miss the days when he was the boss of the Buggy Pirates. Unfortunately, those days are gone forever. It looked up at the white blue sky and white clouds, and it seemed that the scene of Buggy Pirates smiling and talking again appeared in front of them. That is its lost youth and beautiful past. Hey, Niche, what are you doing? Where's my iron body? Why haven't you brought it to me yet? Wow, here comes it. ... West Rogue Village, located in the southern part of the entire East Blue, belongs to the sea area close to the entrance of the Grand Line, Logetown. Because it is close to Logetown, few pirates come here too presumptuously, so the whole village is extremely peaceful and peaceful. The arrival of a pirate with a long nose for several years did not happen, but the cooperation of the kind-hearted villagers made the village very lively every morning. It seems that we have really become a frightening pirate group. Seeing us are scared to escape. On the deck, Zoro couldn't help joking as he watched the escaped ship. On the coast of Zailuobu village, a merchant ship saw the blue dragon of Shannuo and the pirate flag of Shannuo, and immediately ran away with full power and fright. Although it is the pirate flag logo that I haven't seen before, the pirates in such a luxurious and majestic ship must be an incredible figure. Maybe it's a new powerful pirate. The merchant ships were very self-aware, and fled to the distant Gothic island, leaving behind a lone wooden barrel on the sea. They originally wanted to salvage the wooden barrel, but they encountered the azure dragon and had to discard it. Is that? The barrel with devil fruit. Shannuo looked at the wooden barrel at sea level with a slightly warm eye, beckoning Niche to salvage it. Why are you so excited? Is there anything good in it? Zoro, who was smiling happily when he saw Shannuo, couldn't help but approached, and Nami, who heard the movement, also surrounded him. Well, if my guess is correct, there should be a devil fruit in it. Shannuo didn't intend to hide her thoughts from her partner, and said with a smile. Devil fruit. The legendary devil fruit that can give people a strange power. That devil fruit that has a super high value on the black market and is said to be able to sell for 100 million berry or even higher prices. Zoro and Nami couldn't help but screamed when they heard this. And the two people's concerns are obviously different. Shannuo didn't say much. She directly smashed the barrel open with her hands, revealing a strange locked square box inside. I'll come, I will unlock what I am best at. Nami leaned forward for the first time, spinning the wire in his hand, and the expression in his eyes and voice was filled with fanaticism. This is the secret treasure of the sea, devil fruit of 100 million berry. 100 million berry. What boats are you selling? What are you stealing? What treasures are you robbing? Only this devil fruit is enough for her to buy Coco Yaxi village. With trembling hands, she grasped the iron rope on the square box, took a deep breath, and started the lock-picking method with great concentration. This is a big deal, about 100 million berry. She felt for the first time that such a precious treasure was held in her palm. However, what she didn't find was that there was devil fruit statement in it, which was only guessed by Shannuo herself, and there was no evidence to prove it. But both she and Zoro believed in what Shannuo said. Unknowingly getting along, she, like Zoro, gradually believed in Shannuo. Devil fruit, 100 million berry, devil fruit, 100 million berry. Nami muttered, hearing only a click. The lock on the small square box was successfully opened by her. Squeak. The lid opened, revealing the true content inside. I saw a fruit like a sakura peach lying quietly inside. However, different from ordinary sakura peaches, this sakura peach is pink all over, and its size is much larger than ordinary sakura peaches. What's more peculiar is that on the surface of sakura peach, there are various spiral patterns. Yes, the pattern and posture are undoubtedly devil fruit. After seeing the fruit inside, Shannuo no longer had any doubts. Is this devil fruit? Zoro was very interested and looked closely. This is the first time I have seen the secret treasure of the sea. This is devil fruit worth 100 million berry. Nami was also attracted by the appearance of devil fruit and looked at it carefully. There are many types of devil fruit. In addition to sakura peach, there are apples, pears, honeydew melons, pineapples and other forms. The colors are also different. And some special devil fruits are not fruits, but hearts, mushrooms, but the only constant is the spiral pattern covered on it. Shannuo took out devil fruit from the box while studying science. Looking at the shape and color of this fruit, as well as the devil fruits that East Blue played in total, he probably already guessed what this ability is. This ability is not very suitable for men like him, but for women, the compatibility is better. Zoro, do you want to eat this devil fruit? Seeing that Shannuo took the fruit in her hand, Nami seemed to remember, clapping her hands and looking at Zoro with a charming smile on her face. Although I'm very curious about devil fruit, I don't want to eat it. The real great swordsman depends on his sword for strength. Although Zoro's voice is not high, his tone is very firm. Is that right? After hearing Zoro's reply, the smile on Nami's face couldn't help but deepen. Since Zoro, you don't want to eat devil fruit, the captain is also a devil fruit capable person. It seems that the capable person can no longer eat the second devil fruit, otherwise it will explode and die. So what should I do with this devil fruit? She pretended to be very upset, and then said casually. Speaking of, Captain, when I boarded the ship, you didn't give me any embarkation gifts, nor did you give me any banquets. You just want this devil fruit to be straightforward, and you don't have to be like this. Shannuo glanced at her diagonally, and the woman could see to the bottom with a careful glance. Oh, I hate the captain. You see, you are so strong and have devil fruit's ability. Zoro's swordsmanship is also very powerful. I am a weak girl on the whole ship. How can I be cruel here without any strength? Survive on the sea. Nami was sorry, and smiled, letting the niche on one side burst into tears. Ooh, I didn't get on the boat, and I was very weak. I am also considering this for the entire pirate group. My strength has increased. Doesn't it mean that the overall strength of the pirate group has increased? And if you want devil fruit, I can give it to you. Shannuo waved her hand, interrupting Nami's endless chatter. But then, while her eyes were shining, she continued, if you eat it yourself, I will naturally have no problem, but if you plan to hide it and sell it secretly, then you can't give it to you. It's you, what are you talking about, Captain? This is the secret treasure on the sea, devil fruit that can bring great power to people, who would be so stupid to sell it, ha ha. Ha ha ha. Although he reacted quickly, Nami's moment of panic was still caught by Shannuo. She really wants to sell it. Even Shannuo, who knows Nami's temperament well, can't help but feel helpless. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.